Welcome to She's Got the Power, the brand new 2025 AFLW show. This is a podcast show, and with me is Gavin Watson. I am Matthew Sullivan. G'day, Gavin. How are you doing?
I'm very good, Matthew. Welcome to another AFLW season.
Yeah, mate, it's great. The AFLW season just looks like it's a very healthy one for Port Adelaide Football Club, and also a season where there's a lot more games, and just all the teams are up and firing from what I've been seeing. So it's really exciting. It's going to be looking a really good footy season for football fans of basically everyone who kind of loves football in the families out there in the AFL. So yourself, just if we can just do a bit of an intro to the show. We did this podcast as probably, for the lack of a better word, a trial run last year. But yeah, we've got the name for the show. She's Got the Power. It is going to be a Monday night kind of a review show for obviously covering the game that's just been, and then we can touch on the upcoming game as well. Gavin, you've obviously been following the girls for several years now, and so just touch on, just for the listeners, anyone who's kind of joining this show for the first time, a bit about your background, and just in regards to you're a member of the AFL Port Adelaide team, and then your transition to kind of being really involved with the women's program through your family and your following.
Yeah, no, thanks, Matthew. So yeah, look, as we talked about last year, the transition to watching the AFLW, a young family, just looking to revisit the tradition of watching the Port Magpies when I was younger, going with my dad and auntie,
yeah.
And so my children and some of my sisters, so they're aunties, to watch the AFLW. And the thing that we've liked about it, one, is the atmosphere that Alberton provides.
Yeah.
Just the level of intensity that the women's football brings,
yeah.
And the way that they're ambassadors for the game, in that they're so accessible.
Great characters
for the supporters that get along, and they're just so friendly and open, and that includes the coaches as well. So
absolutely,
to be involved in the podcast, just to review that, is just, it's a bit of fun, and an opportunity to acknowledge the great work of Port Adelaide's AFLW program.
Yeah, we really want to celebrate the women's program with this, and I want to celebrate the program in regards to getting more listeners and more followers. And as I've probably discussed to you last year as well, it'd be great to get some women's on this program, whether they're fans or the people that work at the club, and just, it is great. So it is us two blokes that are going to steer the ship to start with, but I'm sure if we can get this, we'll just keep doing this, and the followers will come along, and they're a winning side. So if we kind of just look at kind of what we're going to be doing, is as we're discussing the game on the weekend and then the following game, but we're discussing what's happening, ins and outs of the team as best as we can, and just following the injury reports from the coaches, details of what they're doing, and just trying to pick their brain, just as we've the Portraits podcast has done with other previous shows. So I guess to get straight into the preseason of the 2025 season, and if you can just touch on the fixture real quickly, just give us a bit of an idea on just some of the highlights. What are we looking forward to? Some of the big games. What are the games? If you've got Adelaide listeners listening, what would you say are some of the blockbuster games that they could probably look at and put a highlight through to come and have a look at and watch throughout the year? Just give us a bit of a taste on what's exciting for 2025.
We start the season off at home at Alberton Oval against Fremantle. So Fremantle, like Port, are newer to the competition. They've got a couple of seasons on us. Last year they just got the Chockies against us at home, so it'd be good to return the favour to them this year. Then, having been successful last season, our draw this year is a lot more challenging. We play North away again, like last year. We get West Coast on the road, like last season, and again they're a young side, and so it's a good opportunity to test ourselves. Home games, we get Melbourne, Geelong, the Bulldogs,
Yeah, I'm looking at them, a few of them here too. The ones that I'm thinking too would be like Hawthorn near the end of the year, depending on how
Correct.
we're all both teams are
And
going, because that'd be an exciting game to be watching.
absolutely. Get to play them at Alberton. We haven't played the Hawthorn at Alberton, so that'd be a
Exciting.
great game. And the week after the showdown out at Port Oval against the Crows. And obviously part of the review today, talk about the trial match on the weekend.
Yeah. We'll touch on that in a minute. Yeah, that's good.
With success, the draw becomes a bit more challenging.
Yep.
And as Lauren Arnell said on many occasions last season, pressure is privilege. So
yes,
the team's looking forward to a lot of privilege, that's for sure.
Oh, there's going to be some tough games, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where the fixture and at certain times throughout that season where the teams are on the ladder and how whether the games will be fizzes or be real intense and be what do they call it, like 8-point kind of game. So it's going to be. I think that it's probably more exciting than ever before. And you have, again, if we can just touch on before we move on to the weekend's games, just like I always find this one a bit of an interesting one. First podcast for the year, let's discuss the quality of the competition and Port Adelaide's relevance in the quality of the competition. Have we got some girls that have just, as you may have seen in the preseason, the individuals have gone and risen up another level. So the team then has risen another level, and we'll see a team, hopefully, when we're talking week in, week out, we're going to be talking about hopefully a team that, when they get punched, they punch back, so they get a goal back, just keeping within the game. We want a competitive team that's going to be in every game up to their eyeballs, and yeah, we're hoping for that. So just paint us a picture on that, the quality of that, not only Port Adelaide, but the AFLW competition in general. How many seasons in now?
So this is Port's 4th season, and this is season 10.
Yeah.
And at this stage, as with all of the sides, there's been a bit of turnover. Port, I think it's up to 8 ladies that left the list, some retiring, like an Ange Foley. Eric, some of the ladies were delisted. We traded out Hannah Ewings and brought in Ella Heads from the Swans, and then we recruited 5 players from the draft pool. Now, the draft pool now has started to show greater depth because the junior competitions are now introducing people that have played 5 and 6 years of footy. So people that are coming in that actually can kick on both sides and have football, a bit more football understanding. We've had some great sporting people that come from other backgrounds. They like basketball and netball and other soccer and other sports. So the depth of the competition has improved. I mean, obviously, our main focus is on Port Adelaide, and the players that they've brought in have bring greater depth. And from the game on the weekend, you've got your usual players like your Shanae Goody, immense running power again on the weekend. And
let's get into that. How do they go on the weekend? And I'll just ask a question to tie into what you are discussing about the weekend's performance. But again, what we saw last season was some of the exciting things where there's some elite stuff that we saw. Some of the play that was team based, but also it's on the back of individuals. Just again, as I was saying to you, going up another level. Do we see that? Was there a taste of little signs of exciting things on the weekend where you can see, a stronger side again?
Oh, definitely. There was some great link-up play. There was a few times where Port went the length of the ground against Crows. And yes, it's a trial game, so they're trying players in different positions alike. But you could clearly see Port's game plan is the same as last year. Get the ball, lift the eyes, get the ball on quickly. The long option appears to be the preferred option.
Right.
Ella Heads, again, someone with a lot of pace in the back line, fantastic pickup. I was really impressed with Jasmine Sowden. So she was the last player that Port picked up in the draft.
Okay.
But she showed just great talent in reading the ball in the forward line and kicked a couple herself, but provided an option and just looks like a polished footballer ready to go. The bit that was most interesting for me was who were they going to use as the backup ruck for Matilda Scholes.
Okay.
And so they brought in Chloe Gaunt from up in Brisbane.
Okay.
So she rucked for a bit. But the one that was interesting for me is they used Alyssa Brooke. So Alyssa Brooke was a halfback flanker last year. And she's got a nice leap on her. And she halved the contest, but the thing that she did bring was her second and third efforts.
Okay.
So, again, it was a sample size of one game. But I think they learned from, they tried Ash Saint in the ruck a little bit last year. And I think they've discovered that took away from her other attributes, which is her running capacity. So they've worked on improving that even more, so she can go in the midfield as an on-baller.
Yep.
So there's potentially 2 or 3 ruck options.
If
the other person...
Yeah, go ahead, please, yeah.
That was going to say is Indy Tahu. She came back. She didn't play at all last year with her recovering from her ACL. She played the second half, and just the poise and composure. She just it was like the game. One of those quality players where the game just looks like it slows down that little bit when she's got the ball and just has so much. And she's so powerful, and I'm sure that when she gets a bit more trust and confidence in her knee, she is absolutely a rucking option as well. So
she's got some height as well.
Definitely have lots of flexibility in that regard now.
Right. Okay. I was under the impression, obviously, Indy Tahu had some real centre, midfield skills, but obviously an option for ruck as well. She's tall. That's handy. Now, just before we move on to the new recruits and the injury report, etc., I did want to discuss on just the fact it was a showdown on such a day with other results. I guess it was a 2-point win. That just if you want to discuss, as we will discuss most reviews here, just the quality of the opposition. So it was the Adelaide Crows. They are a good side, but they would have had some changes as well. And did they still look like? Are they going to be a threatening side still this year when they get on the park, throughout the year?
Definitely.
Yeah,
they've got quality players all over the ground.
Are they missing players just for people what was going on for the weekend?
I'm not as familiar with their list as Port, but they certainly they bought a couple of. They had players that missed towards the latter part of last year with an Achilles injury in Jones. She came back and played the forward line. Chelsea Randall was like running around in their forward line. Whilst it's disappointing to see her in a different Guernsey, it's nice to see Hannah Ewing's out on the park.
Yes, yeah.
She's too good a talent to be lost to football.
So true.
It just would have been nice to see her in a teal Guernsey, but rather someone playing than not playing at all. So look, the Crows definitely are a top 8 side, that's for sure.
Okay, excellent.
The trial match showed that Port's made some further natural progressions, but also the leg speed that they brought in with their recruits was certainly helpful. It was interesting to note that in the first half, Port held sway. When the Crows brought a bit more pressure, Port obviously coped with it okay, but that was the period of time where the Crows got on top. Port were better in the contest. The Crows were better outside the contest. So we generally had 1 or 2 people closer to the footy. They had 1 or 2 on the slightly on the outside. And when we got the ball outside of them, that's where we really threatened with our running power and the speed at which we put the ball into the forward line. When we didn't quite do that as effectively, then the Crows were winning the football, and then they were putting pressure on us into their forward line.
Something that's why we did the trial. That's what you got to look at for, and Adelaide will probably expose you, as you say, like if they're going to be the template for all sides, they're a really good side. So, it's a good practice run with a good side like Adelaide.
Absolutely. And if you compare it to pre-season last year, we lost by 5 goals. The year before, in the pre-season, from memory, it was 8 or 9 goals. So to win it by 2 points, that in
Perfect.
itself isn't a marker of anything other
The
than
gap is closing.
we're there and thereabouts,
Yep,
and
excellent.
that's absolutely got to be a positive sign.
Great news. Great news. So, talking about those players on the park, we did lose Caitlin Wendland recently, but there was a replacement with Kobe Morgan. And if we could just not only touch on just her, but also just all the other recruits and changes, and then perhaps if you just wanted to move on from there, if you wanted to even touch on, just because it might relate to some of the injury reports as well of the team as well. So just touch on those two parts of the players list.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So the players that left at the end of last season, as we touched on with a couple of them, so Ange Foley retired.
Yeah.
Eric retired. Olivia Levicki retired.
Right.
And after that, Hannah Dunn also retired. Alex Ballard, Joe Miller as a top-up player.
Good players there.
Jasmine Simmons was delisted. And we upgraded Caitlin Wendland and Tegan Germack. They were part of the top-up players because we had Indy Tahu and Lauren Young on the inactive list. Right. In the trades, we traded out Hannah Ewings and we brought in Ella Heads from the Swans, and she's to play across half-back. So she's sort of a direct replacement for Ange Foley in the providing that bit of experience. Even though she is younger, but she'll provide that run and drive that Ange used to bring. The players that we drafted in, Lily Patterson as a midfielder. Then it was Jasmine Evans as a smaller forward. Then Chloe Gaunt, she's the tall from Brisbane we talked about. Mm-hmm. Gemma Charity, she's a forward mid. She's recovering from a knee injury herself, so she's had an ACL and she's recovering from that. And the last player that they picked up was Jasmine Sowden, and as you just alluded to, when Caitlin Wendland went down, they brought in Kobe Morgan, who's a very young, pacey wingman from Norwood. So they're the player changes, and then from the leadership side of things, we know that Janelle stepped down as captain because she's still working on rehabbing her knee. So Justine Mill becomes the third power.
She's great. Yeah, Justine Mills Robinson. I'm a big fan. She's great forward. She's a good player. I'm glad we didn't lose her when you look at some of the other players we lost. Like I was saying to you before, players you've named that have left, that's some quality players who've left. So all the more you get the other players need is not only step up, but step up and replace them as well. So that gives opportunity. So it's great.
And Julie Tico and Emily Borg are the vice captains, and Kirsty Lamb is part of the leadership group as well. Brilliant. So that's got the four players in the leadership squad. Yeah, from a squad point of view, I think everybody that was available to play. The only notable absentee from those outside of the injury list was Ella Bogue.
Right.
I'm not sure what the go is there, but Kirsty Lamb's managing a foot injury.
Yeah, just have a look at that. Yeah,
Jasmine, one of the recruits, is recovering from a shin injury. Yep. Janelle Cuthbert and Lauren Young are managing their knee rehab. Lauren Young had a bit of a step back in that she needed to have a meniscus tear repaired, so that put her slightly behind Janelle's rehab. So they'll both be available probably mid-season.
Okay.
And Caitlin Wendland, sadly, the other Cheyenne Hammond, she injured her foot. So again, she's probably a mid-season inclusion as well.
Yep.
So look, so there's the squad of 30, and I think that the combinations of those 30 are there's some flexibility in there. The one
no cause for alarm. No cause for alarm.
Oh no, not at all. Not at all.
You don't think you think, and we get some of those players back, as you say, So it'll only strengthen the side. Fingers crossed if we can manage the team well throughout the season, obviously.
Yeah. From a coaching point of view, there's some good stability there. So Lauren remains head coach. Among the on-field coaches, slight change with Dan Merritt moving from midfield to looking after defence, and that's a straight swap with Sam Virgo from defence to midfield, and Braden Talbot, who probably has the fun job of managing all of our quality forwards. He remains the forward coach. Troy Wilkie stays on as the runner, and Sam Venning has come in as the development coach. So that's our coaching squad. Matches against Collingwood, and then that's another 2 weeks before the season starts. So
okay, next one's against Collingwood. Yep. Yeah.
So that's this coming Sunday.
Right.
So Essendon, but like basically almost the last kick of the game, Essendon just beat Collingwood. So Essendon was seen as being a very strong side last year, and there's nothing changed there. So for Collingwood to push them as close as they did, then obviously Collingwood have improved a lot from last season.
Yep.
So that'll be a great hit out for the Power girls this Sunday.
That's in Melbourne or here. Sorry, you didn't say.
So again, Alberton Oval again on the Sunday.
Excellent. So are we promoting the crowd to go to that game? Can we get is it gates open?
The game against the Crows, there would have been a few hundred there. Which was good. The weather looked like it was going to be horrible. It didn't rain at all, which was interesting. It just saved itself for the showdown.
Nice.
It was very windy, but both sides played the conditions well. So, again, the opportunity for Port and Collingwood to look at as many players as they want through the trial. I think they call them match simulation. They don't even call them trial matches anymore.
What time is this on Saturday?
That's a good question. I think it's early afternoon, but it's on Port's website.
We'll promote it. We'll make sure we'll put something out. Keep an eye on our Facebook for it, guys, for the details.
I mean, just anybody that's listening, it'd be shoot us a message as to what your thoughts are the season ahead, and if there's any particular players you'd like us to delve into a little bit more detail, then let us know, and happy to do so.
Absolutely. We'll be here next week. We'll touch on just how we went against the Collingwood Footy Club. I guess be interesting to see, and as I say, is how many more trials and what's the forecast for the first round? Just give us a bit of an insight to the layout for the next 3 to 4 weeks leading to round one, and who we're playing on round one again was who?
We're playing against the Fremantle Dockers on August the 24th.
Right.
That's at Alberton. That's a home game.
Yeah, at home. Beautiful. Okay. All right. So that's in 3 weeks' time.
The last of the pre-season hit-outs.
Beautiful.
And then it's I guess it's nearly 3 week gap. And then the women's season kicks off. There's a couple of the girls that are listed as 4 weeks off.
Right.
So they would be available come round one if everything goes to plan with their rehab. Again, that come the start of the season, there's probably 3 people that won't be available. Right. Again, it's always a good position to be in as a coach to struggle to figure out who you have to leave out, and so there's going to be some disappointed ladies come round one.
Yep.
And we feel for them, but from a team point of view, that's a great position to be in.
And real quickly, there'd be someone asking, like I was going to just ask now and probably ask you off air, but let's just do it on air. What happens? Do they have a Magpies equivalent type of round each week? How do they do internal games for the run game?
They do scrimmage. So let's say Port had every one of their players available. There'd be there's 8 players that miss out. So the Crows would be in a similar position. And so what they do is they organise what they call a scrimmage. So Fremantle might bring their entire squad over, and the few ladies that aren't playing there, they do a bit of a competitive kind of
some
match sim so that they maintain their skill set. And I guess it's nicer to tackle someone you don't know than it is your teammate. You can go that little bit harder and make sure that you're maintaining your skills.
Yeah. So an eight-a-side type thing, or it'd be interesting to see how they kind of manage that. It's because it's
and that's what they've done to this point in time. I guess the pipe dream is give it another sort of probably decade, and then there's depth that I mean, obviously the SNFL grand final was played just finished on Sunday.
Saw that.
So yeah, congratulations to South Adelaide for going back to back in the SNFLW. But yeah, so the SNFL season doesn't run in parallel with the AFL.
Right.
Having said that, the players don't move between the two. But down the track, that may well be something that is an opportunity to do so. So
get more players on the list as well. So you
going back to a local club to play a proper match. And so after the Collingwood trial, there's no more trial matches. That it's the round one where we play the Dockers at home.
Yep.
So it's just a matter of building on what they produced against the Crows.
Yep.
Just to test the areas that they're wanting to look at.
Okay.
Me, the biggest question is over the second and third choices in the ruck. So that last year we had Olivia Levicki. That was a good rucking option.
Yep.
But maybe not so high in the ball smarts in the forward line.
Right.
Whereas this year we've got less in the height, but more in the second and third efforts. So it's kind of the robbing Peter to pay Paul, and we'll see whether that provides us with a greater depth or not.
Some more forward craft from the forwards that we have there now.
Yes, yeah, exactly right.
Right.
And
terrific.
or flexibility they can even play down defence.
Right.
So
okay.
Like the of the two options, one was playing centre half forward in the trial, and then went into the ruck, and the other option is Alyssa Brooke, who can play across half. But yeah, they've used her for her spring and second and third efforts. So we'll see what that transpires as the season goes on, and that's just to give Matilda a cutout. So Matilda didn't even play in the second half of the trial match in the ruck. They just tried the different rucking options.
Okay.
So the Crows were trying things too, but it shows that we've got increased and improved flexibility on last season, and yeah, that hopefully translates into not just excitement, but actually scores on the board and another crack at trying to produce a team that can get us into the finals.
Excellent. Well, Gavin, She's Got the Power is going to be here each week. Like we say, this will be coming out from Tuesday onwards. Look out for this kind of from a Tuesday onwards for the Port Adelaide listeners. Just for transparency for everyone, we record this on a Monday, but this will get out probably on a Tuesday to everyone. So that's in regards to any information that's updated by the time our podcast comes out. And there's the transparency to everyone. We'll let you know what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks when I'm away as well. So we'll still get some content out to you guys. Next week, as I said, guys, Collingwood game, we'll do a review on that. And then we will, I guess, the next couple of weeks as we are discussing what's going on leading up to that Fremantle game, is having a look at how the team's shaping. There might be some kind of just internal trials or little internal scratch matches and some news coming out from the club. So if there is anything, we'll obviously do a podcast or two in that time for any updates leading up to round one. All right, thank you very much, guys. Until next week, go the power.
Go the power.